these are not, as the mainstream media will tell you, and one horrible Alberta senator named Paula Simons will tell you, unvaccinated truckers. That's not what these guys are protesting at all. Guys and girls, I should say. They are against the mandates for truckers. They're against coercion and forced vaccinations and the nonsensicalness of it all. So I know a thing or two about the trucking industry. My husband works in oil field trucking, although he's not a truck driver anymore. He mostly just sits in his nice pickup and talks on a radio. But my father-in-law used to be a long-haul trucker. He's also in oil field trucking. And a lot of the truckers never get out of their trucks when they're picking up their load. So they just back in, Swamper or somebody else hooks them up. When they go deliver their load, it's decked off and that's it. So these guys are in no contact with anybody else. And for the most part, you're living out of your truck. If you're a long haul trucker, you usually have a sleeper. You sleep in the back of your truck cab. So this is like their house. This is like making you be vaccinated for your mobile home, like for your RV. You know, it's so ridiculous. But this is what Justin Trudeau has mandated for them. And it's also the same going the other way. So a lot of these Canadian truckers who are protesting in Canada are showing support for their American trucking friends who are in the same boat. They can't come into Canada, so they're sort of grounded and separated. And so we had Drea Humphrey covering the truckers as they sort of went through the Lower Mainland very early yesterday morning. She said before church. So that's early for Drea. And we have some footage of that.
Yeah.
That makes me so happy. A couple years ago, we had a convoy of trucks roll out of Alberta all the way to Ottawa in support of Canadian pipelines. And then there were sort of smaller convoys happening all across the prairies. And so that like honking is music to my ears. But last night I was in Edmonton and there were probably 2,000 people there to greet the truckers and to give the ones that were leaving from the Edmonton area a send off. And I will tell you, the mainstream media did show up. They sent 2 camera crews. That you can tell they're from the mainstream media because of their overly expensive cameras that don't do anything more than my cell phone. And then they stand way back on the road wearing masks outside by themselves because they're the mainstream media. Nobody wants to talk to them. And so they stand out on the road by themselves and they did not set foot inside the rally to actually talk to a single person about why they were there. They didn't bother to knock on a cab of a truck and talk to a trucker, none of that stuff. But you will read coverage in the mainstream media about why the mainstream media thinks these convoys are happening. But it's all just their speculation because they never actually talked to a real person involved in it.
Yeah, but it's what they do too when they have a protest in the street. They are staying like really far away, like if everybody have the peg. But they are really scared of, I don't know, probably being harassed by them. But at the same time, they are there for freedom. They are there really peacefully. So they probably should join and ask questions to them. But the thing is, I think the mainstream media doesn't want to show what they have to say because that can change a narrative for some viewer that they have. So they prefer to stay away, take some shot, and afterwards they can create their own story because they don't have anything else for material to show.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened with BC. They had to change their story after the fact, but initially they wrote, they're protesting road conditions. Then people are like, yeah, no, they're not. So then they're like, oh no, there was 2 separate groups of truckers and these guys were protesting road conditions and these guys were protesting vaccine mandates. And I thought that's really interesting that you thought even if that second or if that first convoy even existed, it's interesting that that was the one that you chose to cover, by the way.
And on this article about the maintenance of the truck, you know, the lack of maintenance, I took the picture. I look at the picture and the third truck was wearing in the front of the truck. You can see it if you zoom it. It's a flag of Canada flip-flop
Yeah.
That doesn't mean like lack of maintenance. That means that where the Canada is under bad occupation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a sign
and we
of
need
distress.
help. Yeah, distress, and we need help.
AD, I don't know if you can go to my Twitter feed. We had just a video of maybe 1/3 of the people that converged on the truck stop west of Edmonton last night. I had to climb a snowbank just so I could get footage of everything. And it was like 3 times as much by the time the truckers finally got there because they were delayed. DOT, so Department of Transportation, opened some scales and slowed them down. So they had to go in through the weigh scales and have all their log books checked before they could go on. But this is, you can see all the cars. Those are people who've driven in to show support, all the truckers in the background. And so this is like at 4:30. Truckers didn't even show up till 7:30. And this place was packed. It was all down the roads. Like, see that road there? It was just full of people. People were carpooling in. There was not anywhere, I think, within a kilometer where you could park later on. The parking lots across. And this is a major truck stop, so they have so much parking, but it was just packed. There's like 1,000 people on the other side there. It was just insane. Wow. People showed up with food for the truckers, soup. A mom and her kids they had cookies that they had brought for the truckers with a little note thanking them for taking the time to go all the way to Ottawa to defend the future of our country. It was really heartwarming to see. And nobody there really was like, I mean, I'm sure there's always people like that in every crowd, but there were not like rabid anti-vaxxers. These were just people who are saying, no, we just don't believe in the coercion. Whatever side of the argument you fall down on, it doesn't matter. This is between you and your doctor, your family, whoever, not you and your government and a border guard.
Yeah. It's your choice. It's your choice to decide what you want to inject into your body. That's it. It's not the government should decide. It's a doctor, and you should decide with your doctor. And especially if you don't feel that you need it, don't take it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is the letter. This is the letter the lady was giving out to the truckers. We'll have to zoom in. I still have this note in my Jeep, by the way, and I did eat the cookies because that was all I had for supper because I thought I would be out of there a little sooner. But it says, thank you for standing up for all Canadians and the Canada we loved. Thank you for standing up against division, segregation, and hate. Thank you for standing up for the children of Canada. We will inherit the consequences of what the grown-ups of our country let happen. Thank you for standing up for our right to decide what happens to our body and us kids' right to play, participate, and just be kids. Thank you for choosing to transport goods so we can have what we need. Thank you for taking your time in your truck to bring Ottawa to a halt and bring the whole country to bring our whole country to its knees. It should not have to happen this way, but we are ever grateful that someone is standing up for our future. Cookies make everything better. Hope these cookies make your long ride better and that you get so much support along your journey. Thank you from the kids of Canada. And so this mom and her kids had baked hundreds of these cookies, and they were going to the trucks and giving them out. Some people are in their trucks, but some people are in their personal vehicles, and they've joined the convoy too. And this mom and her little kids were out there sending a message of support to them. And those are the kind of people out there. So when you see the mainstream media saying, oh, this is a bunch of sexist, white supremacists, whatever they use to discredit them, if they had taken a minute to wander into the crowd, they would have seen a lot of wholesome goodness like that.
Oh, hi. That was a clip from our Rebel Daily Livestream. It's hosted Monday, Wednesday, and Friday by the big boss man, Ezra Levant, and Tuesdays and Thursdays by me, Sheila Gunn Reid, and my good friend, David Menzies. On the live stream, we talk about the news of the day, we show some videos, and we interact with our viewers at home. We stream at 12 noon Eastern, 10 Mountain. You can find us on YouTube, Rumble, Super U, and Odyssey.